Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with DigitalREM. Welcome back to the lesson of creating your 3D text in Blender. This is lesson 3 to creating your 3D text in Blender. What we're going to cover in this lesson is how to apply materials to your text. Now that we've made a mesh out of your text, we're going to show you how to apply materials, apply those colors, really color this thing up. So let's just hop right into it. All right, here we go. So pretty much we're going to hit the ground running. We left off right here at converting our text layers, our curves, into mesh layers. So again, when we have this as a triangle, it's a mesh now. So if you don't remember how to do that, make sure you go back to the previous lesson and see how to do that. Now that we have a mesh assigned, if you notice, you can go into edit mode. You go into edit mode like this as well. Hit the edit mode right here. But if you go into edit mode, we have faces that we can select. And each of these faces can be assigned a value of color or a shader. In the, you know, the regular terms, put it like that, right? A shader in the industry terms. So what we're gonna do is apply these shaders, these materials, these colors to the actual mesh, and then we're gonna pretty much hit the ground running just like that. So first thing we want to do is create a default. Let's create our first material. Now, this is the most important part, learning how to create your first material. Congratulations, you've made it. You made it to the point where you're creating your material where this thing is gonna look awesome. Now, again, you're dipping your toe in the water right now, but this is definitely the beginning to that phase. So enjoy this process as you see it, just enjoy the process, right? So how do you get to the materials? Let's go back. We're in the edit mode here. You don't necessarily have to be in edit mode, but when you're in the edit mode, you can hit edit mode like this. But then you want to go to this beach ball thing. You might be on any of these other ones. Make sure you go to this beach ball, and it's called, if you hover over this, material properties. You want to go to material properties and then just hit this new button. Boom. And when you see the new button, you'll see material pop up. I like to definitely double click and name our material. So we're going to call this material 1. Always name and label your stuff. We're going to name this material 1. Now what happens is this material 1 is assigned to all of the faces of this object. All of the faces of this object contains this one material. Now, with that being said, when you want to edit the color of the material, let's just stay with this one material now, because I'm going to show you how to do multiple materials on one object. But if you want to stay with this color of the material, now you go into all the properties of the material. Now, if I want to say I'm trying to figure out how to make it pop up. But if you don't see these options, make sure you go to the render settings and make sure you're in cycles. Hit cycles. You can be in EV2, but I highly suggest cycles just for the learning purpose. So hit cycles, make sure you're in cycles. When you're in cycles, go back to the material, and if you see it where it says use nodes, go ahead and click that use nodes. Once you click that use nodes, then you'll see all of these options pop up. So if you don't see these options now, hit that use nodes button. I was trying to make it pop up, but for some reason it's not popping up. So hit the use nodes buttons and it'll pop up with all of these options. Now that you have these options selected and you have the material applied, this is the area where you see all the materials that are applied to your object. So now that you have the option selected and there's only one material applied to this object, you can go in, left click into the color, anywhere in the color part. You can left click and just drag where you want it to be. Now you might be like, Chris, I don't see a difference. I don't see a difference going on. And I didn't even expect it not to show a difference, but this is a good lesson for if you get to this point, you're like, man, nothing's happening. I don't understand. You're not doing it right. Yes, I'm doing it right. The thing is, we need to turn viewport shader to a different setting. So the viewport shader is currently at the viewport shading settings. We're going to go ahead and go into the viewport shading, right? And now under viewport shading, you can see the color of the material. Now you can also go to viewport render, but we don't have any lights in the scene right now. Yeah, we don't have any lights in the scene right now, so you won't be able to see the render. So we're gonna just stay in the shading, keep it simple, right? So boom. So now you see the blue, and you want to change the blue, you can change the red, you can change the green, you can change all of these different colors, right? And we're gonna go with something like this, for now we're just gonna go with something like the our DigitalREM blue, right? We're gonna go with something like that. Boom. All right, that's gonna be our main one of our main colors, right? Now you can go, let's just give you a quick run through of some of the different options here so you can just see. And some of these different options might require some lighting actually, or it might not. Let's see. Oh, it won't. Okay, cool. So some of the different options that you can see down here, you can change. Now, I'm not going to go through all the different options. If you are interested in learning more about these options, we will, in a later course, go over different material options. We just course over how to create materials because it gets very deep. It's a very deep subject that you can get pretty much go into oblivion in creating shaders. So essentially that's what you're doing when you're toggling these settings on and off and figuring out and manipulate them. You're creating shaders. The first part of creating shaders at that, but you're creating shaders. But the most important part for creating text and creating logos and things like that are going to be the specular and the roughness. The roughness is when you turn the roughness down, which I would even say that's the most important part. To be honest with you, for beginners, you can leave the specular where it is, but once you turn the roughness down, you can see it gets very reflective. You can see a sky that's the background for this image, or that's lighting this image. You can see the sky. That's the roughness, right? Now, if you, I mean, that's taking the roughness down where you're all specular, all reflective, right? So if you turn the roughness up, then you get more of a dull look, like a cartoon look, and that's turning the roughness up, just like that. It was really that simple. So you have to turn the roughness up and you turn the roughness down, and it's just like that to create your text. Boom. Now I would say that's pretty much for this lesson. That's all that really matters. Like you turn the roughness up or turn the roughness down. And I would just keep it really that simple. Really that simple. And you can look into all of these other things. One of the things we are going to cover is the emission in one of the other for the other materials. So let's go ahead and assign. Let me show you how to assign different materials to the same object. So we're going to assign different colors, aka materials, to this same object. So what we want to do is now that we have this material assigned, go into edit mode. Boom. And what we want to do is go ahead and we're gonna do like what? Face, side, bevels, light emissions. So what we want to do is select all the front faces. We're gonna want to select all of the side faces, and we're gonna want to select all of the I said side faces, and then some of the bevel faces. Put it like that, right? So let's go ahead. Let's just go with this. So what I'm gonna do is go into X-ray mode. Make sure you're in the side view. You can get the side view by just going like this if you want to, but get in the X-ray mode where you make sure you're selecting the right faces, and we're gonna select all of these down the middle. Then a little hack you can do is now that you have all of these selected down the middle, just hit Control plus, just hold down Control at the same time, and just select that until it goes all the way to the edge, just like that. And let's see what that looks like when it's not on X-ray mode. That's pretty nice. That's pretty much how I wanted it. So what we want to do now is, in the material part, remember the beach ball, the material part, what we want to do, this is all of the materials assigned to our object. So what we want to do is just add another material. So hit that plus button right next to it. And that's going to give you another beach ball, which is a placeholder for a material. And we're just going to create new. Create new. We're going to give it a color. Let's go ahead and make this like gray or something. Or something similar to what we had. Well, let's just assign it now. So we're gonna make it like gray. We're gonna make it let's make it a color that's just totally, yeah, let's just keep it gray. So what you wanna do, now that you have this selected, you have these faces selected, you wanna just hit assign. It's really that simple. Hit assign, and now all of the faces that you have selected will be assigned that color. Just like that. Now the beautiful part about this, even though I set this as gray and I really don't like it as gray, I can always go back in and change the colors. I can just change the colors because now that material, this material 2, matte 2, this matte 2 is assigned to those faces. So it doesn't matter whatever I do to this, it'll be those faces that it'll be assigned to. So I can make this, if I want to make this reflective, the front part, you know, a matte finish, second part is reflective, and we're gonna keep it like that for now. I don't know why I like that, but I kind of like it. Boom. So we're gonna go into the next part, right? The next part is we're gonna go ahead and select these faces, or what I'm gonna do, and this is actually just as a teaching lesson. What I'm gonna do is go into edit mode, and let's say you clicked off of the faces, right? Let's say you clicked off of those faces. It's a teaching moment. If you select the material, let's say we select this material, the one we assigned all the yellow to. If you hit this select button, it'll select all the faces that have that material applied, right? That's a quick little shortcut, quick little hack, trick, tip, whatever you want to call it. A quick little shortcut. Now what we want to do is hide these faces. You don't have to do this, but this is a workflow thing that I would definitely highly suggest that you do. So what you want to do is hide these faces. I know usually it's Alt Shift H, but I'm gonna try to find a long way to do it. So you can see show and hide. Hide selected. So we want to hide selected by hitting H. And we're gonna hide everything that we have selected. So now we're just left with what is not selected. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and create a new material for all of these faces here. And remember, we had you probably just noticed how it was I clicked off it too soon, but you probably noticed how everything wasn't selected because I wasn't in X-ray mode. So make sure you're in X-ray mode, and we're gonna do another material. So we're gonna do material 3 now. New matte 3. Boom. We're gonna assign that material to these faces. We're gonna make that an obvious, like a way different color, like pink or something. Something crazy. Something crazy. So now you can see those purple, yellow, purple, yellow, and blue right there. Boom. So let's go back into edit mode one more time. And remember, if you go and toggle in the edit mode, object mode, it doesn't hide what you have in edit mode. So you can toggle in and out and not worry about that, losing what you have selected. So we're gonna hide now what we have as pink, right? So now I want to select all of the, what do I want to select? Here's a good one. Let's see if it works. I want to select all of the inside faces, all of the flat faces on the front side, right? I want to select those faces now. So what we want to do is actually, I think I might have a better idea. So if you double click, do I want to do it like that? Yeah, let's do this. All right, so if you select the faces and like select the face, because we want to select all of these faces that are basically inside of our bevel here, all of the flat faces that spell out the name. And that's like the original shape of the text of the font, right? Want to select all of those, and you could go back in here and try to select each and individual one and make it hard for yourself. And that's what I would have done, not knowing the tools that are available to you. So with knowing some of the tools that are available to you, what you want to do is select one of the faces, and then we want to go to select similar, and then coplanar. Now, when we select similar coplanar, it's going to select all faces that are similar, that have the same angle and everything. It might even be in the same like Y space in Blender, Y space as what we had selected. So you see it selected all of those faces, and we're gonna go ahead and assign a new material for those faces too. So this is material 4, matte 4. Boom, that's simple, y'all. And we're going to assign that. I think y'all kind of getting the gist of how this works. Boom. So now you see we have the white in there. We have the yellow, we have the purple, we have the blue. Boom. All right, we're gonna go back into edit mode. Boom, just like that. Go ahead and hide that. All right, so to give it a little flair, I got this tip from somebody on YouTube. So I shout out, I can't remember the name right now, but shout out to you for the tip. I'm gonna try something real quick. Select similar. Let me see. Select similar, coplanar. Almost. It almost did it. I wanted to try to what we'll do. So it almost did it. What we'll do is, let's try this first. Let's go in the side view, and we want to just select that first edge, and then we can control plus all the way through the end until we get to where we want to get to. So just select that, boom, and then we could control plus, and control plus essentially is going to be like select more, select come on, don't freeze on me. Control plus essentially is select more, select less. So select more, select less. Control numpad, you see it. So that's how you would get to that. So it's control plus, boom, and that's gonna be our we're gonna do one more. That's gonna be our inset. Now this is a little tip I got from somebody on YouTube. Shout you out for who you are. Very good little tip. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and assign a new material for this as well. So we want to just matte 5, assign, and right now we're just going to assign all our materials. Then we're going to get into the coloring part, right? So boom. Let's go back into edit mode actually. Hide that. Then everything else can be like a trim. Like if we have like a chrome trim or something to it. So add material, and we'll just do matte 6. Boom. And now it'll be matte 6, so we're assigning that to matte 6. And boom. Good and good. Now to reveal all your stuff back again. Oops, not edit mode. To reveal all your stuff back again, you can either hit Alt H, or you can go to mesh, show hide, reveal hidden, Alt H, boom, and you'll learn these. That's why I'm trying my best to not do just the shortcuts, but really get into showing you where these things are at, because when you find out what you're trying to do, like we did what we hide, show and hide, that's a mesh thing, show and hide. You'll know where it's at on the menu, and then once you find out where it's at on the menu, you can see how to shortcut to it on your own. So definitely find it. When I was new to any 3D package, the best thing I learned was just to find it on the menu. Once you find it on the menu, then interacting with the shortcuts becomes a lot easier to do. So boom, we're gonna go into edit mode, back into edit mode, and now I just want to see what I have selected. So matte 6, which one was that? Matte 6, that was the face. So we're gonna make that a crazy color, like a red. I'm just doing something just to see the difference between them all, really. And I lied, because matte 6, dang it. Okay, so we'll do this. Matte 4 selected. We assigned everything that was matte 1. We were assigned everything that was matte 1 as matte 6. So we're going to put everything that was matte 1 back. Sorry if that's confusing. But if you do make a material and you don't want it anymore, you can select the material and just hit that delete or that minus key. You have to be in object mode to do that though. So hit that minus key, boom. And that'll just get rid of it, just like that. Boom, like that, just like that. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and continue on. So now that we have most of these created, what I'm gonna want to do is let's just make it look interesting. Now we have them, we have our materials assigned. Let's just make it look interesting, right? So let's make this like a chrome finish here. We could take the saturation all the way down. I mean, and that'll make it more black and white. And we'll just take up that a little bit. Now we want to go into matte 2. And I think I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do it like this. DigitalREM bluish. Matte. We're gonna do this one like a I wanted to just do something that just, I don't know. I don't know what to do yet. And I'm gonna just make that color. We're gonna get rid of matte 3. So I'm gonna just, everything that's assigned for matte 3, we're just gonna assign for matte 4. So the front is the same as the back. That's perfectly fine with me. Boom, and get rid of matte 3. All right. And I really just made a lot of those just so you can get a sense of how that works, right? Sense of how that works. So what I want to do now is go ahead and on matte 2, or let's do this. Side matte. You can name it whatever you want to. Face matte. Frame matte. Glow matte. And what we're gonna do with the glow matte, that's a little bonus, right? A little bonus for everybody who's watching right now. The glow matte. Boom. It's a little bonus, but at the same time, it's a little bonus for this lesson, but you'll find the glow matte very beneficial in the future for yourself. So side matte, we want to take some of this reflectivity off. So we're going to pump that roughness up. Boom, just like that. Just like that. With the frame matte, we want to make that more reflective. So bump that reflectivity down. Boom, just like that. Now you get a nice little shimmer off the front. A little too much shimmer for me, so we're just gonna make it like that. Boom, just give it just a little bit. You know, you don't want to make it very, very reflective, but you just want it reflective enough. Like boom, just give it a nice little. When you do an animate around it, you get those nice little highlights hidden off the front, or whatever the case may be. You can get those nice little highlights just like that. Boom, when you animate past it, or whatever however you freak this, right? Boom. So we did that. One more thing we want to do. Let's do that face matte. Let's try to figure out something a little better than this face. I don't like that green. That green just don't pop. It don't work for me, right? And really, in the advanced course, you can animate this really to, you know, do all kinds of little stuff like this, or whatever the case may be. You can really get in there and get creative with this part. Let's say we turn the saturation down. Let's just make it white for now. Let's just make it white. Boom. So we're gonna make it, but then you won't be able to see the glow like I really want you to see the glow. But let's see what the glow looks like. So on this glow mat, you might be like, how do you make it glow? Like that's, how would you do that? And remember, you might be asking like, for one, you might be asking like, where is the glow mat at? So we're gonna show you again. We selected the bevel. There was a bevel when we created the bevel. When we created that shape a while back in the lesson 1, you can kind of tell. All right, if you're having trouble navigating your scene, make sure you go to preferences. When you go to navigation, let's not orbit around selected. Let's do it like that. And let's see if we can just navigate right up in here. But you can see, my screen. I mean, my thing not keeping up. But there's a little area in here. There we go. There's a little area in here. That's where our light is at. That's where our glow is gonna be at. So we're gonna go ahead and apply that glow. And you can see if I change it to red or something, you see it changes. That's where we put it inside of. So essentially this is gonna work like a light. So we're gonna go ahead and assign this a light value like this right here. But the key to this is to assign different, you're currently looking at what we've been doing, manipulating what is called a principal BSDF shader. Essentially that shader is going to calculate, you know, the light of the environment and things like that. It's going to calculate all of those things, and there's multiple types of shaders available, not only principal BSDF. Like for example, there's glass shaders, all kinds of different shaders that are available. Now with that being said, there's a such thing called an emission shader. That's what we want. The emission shader is going to work just like a light. So just like when you turn the lights on, it's emitting light. Keyword emission, it's emitting light. The emission shader is exactly what you want. So we're gonna go to emission shader here. Boom. Now the emission shader, now you see that the options change. When we went from principal, I'm going back. When we had principal BSDF, it's like this, and we had all of this metallic, all of this stuff. But when we went to, these are all of the different other options that you might have, that you do have, and I'm saying might, that you do have. But then you can pick emission, and you see the options change when you pick emission, which now we could just assign a color, make it a color, boom, and then give it a strength. Just boost that strength up like that, boom, like that, boom, let's go. And you might be like, well, I don't see anything. I don't see the difference. What's going on? Like it looks the same to me. It's because a emission shader will not show unless you're in a rendered view. So we have to go into the rendered view, and let's see if we can get this to show in our rendered view. Or is it because of our, well, something's going on where I cannot see. There we go. I had it paused here, right? So you can pause the scene, you can open the scene, but we had it paused. So boom. Now you can see, let's turn our emission shader down more. This is the emission shader not on. Then we're gonna just boost it to 4. And now this is with the emission shader on. And the emission shader is really just shooting onto the actual faces that we assigned the face material to. So we assigned it to white. Let's say if we made it red or something. Or something that it'll soak up the light instead of bounce off the light. But you can even see the little inside trim here. Like you can see the trim on the inside part when you get real close. Like you see that trim in there. And that's essentially what we want. We want to create some sense of depth for that scene. Boom. And that's just a quick little trick. And I appreciate shout out to the inspiration for that little trick. Boom. So let's say we rock like that. And again, you can animate your camera to go pretty much however you want to, but now you have this scene set up. We're gonna go ahead and just drop this down, make sure this is touching the floor. RD. Boom. And you can pretty much just rock it just like that. So you could do an animation like this with your camera. I know it looks very rough, but an animation like that with your camera or whatever the case may be. But now you have a dream created and you've assigned all your materials. And at this point, I mean, we pretty much covered most of assigning your materials, but at this point you can go in, like before, you can go in and just start to mess around with some of the settings, like brighten some of this stuff up, like this metal material, we want that a little brighter, like make that a little brighter. Boom. So it'll just pop those edges a little more. You might even want to I don't want to decrease the roughness that bad. Let's do it like this. Something like that. Or you can even hit the metallic on them, like just throw it straight to metallic. Now, if you have metallic, you could go ahead and turn the specular down. You could turn, well, you can keep the roughness. You have to keep the roughness. But if you do the metallic, that even works even better than the specular. So if you do the metallic, just go ahead and boost that metallic all the way up because it's a metal frame, and then just use the roughness to kind of, sorry to cover my mouth, but use the roughness to kind of give you what you need, and that definitely looks a lot better. Just boosting that metallic up. Boom, just like that. Now, another thing. I will say another thing that we can do. Now, all of this is based off of, this is the lighting itself, but all of this is based off of lighting that I set up in this scene here. But what you also can do, we're not going to go over this in this lesson, but you can set up your HDR lighting. So set up your HDR lighting. If you have HDR images, of course. Here we go. I know it's kind of chugging along, but HDRI images look more like this, where they actually act as scene lights, so it lights your whole scene using HDR images. And I have a few, if it ever loads, that are kind of like a studio. So with the studio lighting, we kind of just set those up and let it ride like that with studio lighting. And we're going to cover this in a later lesson as well, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it for now, just to get some lighting going. So boom. And you can see the image popped up. This is how our studio light will look. So now we get a better sense of what we're looking at here. So with the face material, totally different than I thought it was. Totally different. So we're just going to go with that white. Boom. And we go with that white for the face. Let's see if we turn that roughness up so it'll just absorb. Now again, the roughness acts like a matte. It's like a matte. So we're gonna turn these roughnesses, both of these up. Now I just want the frame to pop off. So again, there you go, and you can see the little glow that's inside there. And remember, this is in regular texture mode. So if you want to go into a render view, now you can see it more accurate to what it would look like when you render this out. So boom. Oh, that's that. So we showed you how to apply your materials. Make sure I covered everything real quick. Real quick. Apply materials, face assign new materials, select beveled edge, shift all select the edge loop. I show you how to select similar faces coplanar. I didn't show you how to select the edge loop, so I'm gonna do that real quick. And again, this is beneficial when trying to assign faces. So let's say you're wanting to select this group or this loop around here. Everything that goes around this D. Everything that goes around this D, like in that front part, right? You want to select those. What you want to do, if you go to get real close and click on that, on the edge of it, where this face is, on the edge of that face, and double click it, it'll select that whole edge loop. Just like that. It'll select that whole edge loop. So that's how you select edge loops. If you want to alt click or control click, is it? If you want to select the edge and then you only want to select a certain amount of edges to that edge, you can control click. And it'll select the faces that goes towards that edge, right? But I always find it best to select like this. Just select the edge, double click it, and it'll select that whole loop. Now, if you would, then once you select the middle one, you can do what we did before: control plus, and pretty much hit it like that. So now you have all of those faces selected, and you could change that to whatever color you want. So let's say we want to assign that to a glow material. Boom, now it's glowing with the rest of it. So now you can really freak it all you want to. So let's see what that looks like in the render view. Boom. So now you see it's glowing. Instead of having the metallic look on the front, now it's glowing on the front. So you can do that too. We're gonna go ahead and control Z out of that. So I don't necessarily like that, but just wanted to show you how to do that. So I make sure I covered everything that I'm supposed to cover in this lesson so we can move on to the next lesson. So let's hop out of this thing. All right, so we covered everything in this lesson as far as applying materials, showing you how to apply your materials. We covered how to create a material for the face, the side, the bevels, the light emission material. We showed you how to do that by keyword emission, assign a emission shader. Most of the time you can get away with creating anything using a principal BSDF shader. So you can more than likely, that's a great starting point to get any shader that you really want. All right, so we showed you how to select faces, how to select edge loops, how to do the control plus to select more. We showed you so many different things. We showed you how to do to select the coplanar, so selecting similar faces that might live along, have the same angle and be in the same space or share some of the same things. We showed you how to do that. So pretty much I hope this was beneficial to you. Play around with your textures, play around with the settings, play around and just have some fun with just creating something that looks real to you, that looks, however you want it to look. Pretty much just have some fun with this. We get into more advanced stuff later on in the future where we start to apply textures and things like that, or even modify these shaders. But again, this is a great starting point for if you're trying to create text in 3D and you just want to get started with a logo or something like that. You want to create a graphic with a stinger or something where the camera move around it. This is the perfect place to start because it'll get you pretty much 90% there of where you need to be. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is lesson number 3. Yeah, lesson number 3. So we will be continuing in the next lesson with boom, 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 boom. Where we at? Dun, 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 dun. I did setting materials. Yep, I did that. We adjusted the text a little bit. Did the creative materials. So essentially we've created most of everything that you will need for this lesson. This is 3 lessons. We can go into more advanced lighting techniques, and we will do that. We will actually go into some advanced some lighting techniques in the next video. So we're going to show you how to light your scene. We're going to show you how to set your scene up, pretty much set a scene up. Now that you have your text, we need to put in an environment that, you know, again, that can be nice to, you know, render to. So we're going to show you how to set up your own environment in the next video. Pretty much hit the ground running just like that. I have this default scene that I usually use for everything, but we'll show you how to set up a new scene, new default scene from scratch, and pretty much just hit the ground running. We don't call it your default scene, but we'll show you how to set up a scene with the lighting 3-point light setup to pretty much hit the ground running, and other types of lighting that you can utilize and resources that you can tap into to access those type of lighting resources. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. All y'all take care. Have a blessed day. Later, y'all. Peace. Yeah.